Tim Petrovich of the Daily Republican here with Marion head football coach Kerry Martin. We head into week 5 of the high school football season. Coach, halfway through the season. It's been a quick first half, hasn't it?
It really has. It does go fast. You know, you're so busy with all the preparations, and it flies by, and there's no real time to, you know, enjoy it too much or be too down about anything. You just got to keep rolling, and here comes the next game.
You're 4-0, 1-0 in the conference now. Big conference opening win over Cahokia. Talk about that game. You felt like it was a big improvement over the first 3 weeks.
Only because, the main reason is because it was a consistent 4-quarter performance where we didn't let up. And, you know, Highland we started slow. Harrisburg we finished slow, and I thought last week against Cahokia we played 4 quarters. I thought we played hard. I thought we executed a lot of our schemes better. And I thought we played hard, and those are things we're trying to get better at. And I was pretty pleased. Of course, we still found a lot of things we can improve on, but we still felt like it was a step in the right direction.
51 points against a team like Cahokia. Not the same Cahokia team we've seen in the past, but a Cahokia team that I think is probably markedly better than it was at the beginning of the season.
They are better. They're still talented. I mean, he's still got. Coach Galladay's got some good size. He has some good speed, which we saw in a couple of plays. They broke some long plays against us, and you know, they're just learning. I think he called it not a rebuilding, but a building program. Again, he's having to build this program back up, and he's kind of starting from scratch. A lot of new players, and that's not to say they're not talented. It just means they don't have a lot of football experience, but they're getting it now. And I think that's a team that, if they stay together, could get better as the season progresses.
I don't think we can keep going very much longer without talking a lot about Shaquille Ivy.
Right.
And last week again, 205 yards rushing, 310 all-purpose yards, including a long kick return for touchdown. He is putting up some ridiculous numbers.
He is. You know, he's what I like about it every day is that he comes out to practice and he is always, you know, willing to do what he needs to do to get better as a player. And he's a quiet kid. He's a quiet leader for us, and he leads by example and just steps up and runs hard every day in practice and has improved his pass catching ability. His freshman year he didn't catch the ball very well, and that's an area he's gotten a lot better. He's an unselfish player in his blocking, and I just, you know, he continues to get better because of what he does during the practices each week, and I think that says a lot about his character.
And he's coming back next year too.
Yeah, he's. It's always good to have a kid playing at that level, a young man playing at that level that's just a junior. And we've got a number of kids that are you know, juniors and sophomores that are really contributing, you know, along with our seniors who are showing great leadership. And so it's a nice blend of some young guys and some older guys and some experience and guys that are getting experience, and it's been working pretty well so far.
The thing I like the most about Shaq is things that probably most media people wouldn't like, and that's the fact that when you go to talk to him after a game, he's not prepared. He doesn't want to deal with the media. He doesn't want to do the limelight thing. He just wants to go about his job, and when he does talk, when you do get him to talk, he does like to give credit to other people too.
He does. He's that way. You know, he is a quiet young man, but it isn't that he's not. You know, he's a great guy to talk to, but he likes to kind of have one-on-one conversations, I think, more than talk in a big group. And he's not prepared to give a speech after a game or to answer a lot of questions about himself, because that's not who he is. I mean, he's a kid that steps right on and plays on our defensive side of the ball and plays as hard as he can. And just a thought I had about Shaq the other night. He left his jersey in his locker after the game, and I went to take it out for him because he had forgotten it. And the pool of sweat that had accumulated in just a few minutes after the ball game told me a lot about this young man. I mean, I've never seen a jersey more soaked from sweat in my coaching career, and that tells you what he put into that ball game, how much he poured out of himself into that ball game, and that struck me as that's why he's successful.
Well, and not only that, but he only played 3 quarters, and he spent the whole 4th quarter pacing up and down the sidelines talking about how bored he was.
Yeah, he wants to play, but you know, the great thing about it, I told him, I said, you know, we've got a good lead, and I'm going to let some other kids get in the game. And his comment was 2 words. He said, "Yes, sir." That's it. You know, it wasn't a, you know, so often we hear about the negative side of things, and he's just handled his success so far so well, and I hope he continues to do that because it's important for a young man who's having success like that. It can go to their head, you know that. It can go to the heads of college and pro players, and he's handled it very, very well. And I hope he understands how important that is, what an example he's setting for his teammates. When they see that the guy that's having the most success is that humble about it, it keeps everybody humble, I think.
Defensively, I think I'd probably mistaken not to mention the fact that among the things I've seen this year is I've seen guys like Aaron Adeoye and especially Keegan McGee blow up so many plays at the line of scrimmage with their quickness getting off the ball.
Yeah, our defensive line has really been playing well for us and changing that line of scrimmage and getting some penetration and forcing ball carriers to maybe reroute where they're headed for. It's disrupted some blocking schemes, and of course, you know, if your defensive line's not playing well, it puts a lot of pressure on the linebacker and secondary core, and they're giving quarterbacks, you know, not a lot of time to throw the ball, which is allowing our secondary to make breaks on balls that are thrown early. So it's just a chain reaction. When that front four plays well or front three plays well, it spills over and it allows for the linebackers and secondary to play better. And right now, Aaron and Colin Solner and Keegan and Michael Norris and Darian Daniel, those guys up front have really been probably the key element to our defensive success to start the year.
And then this late in the season, you tend to see a lot of times linebackers and possibly some safeties and things like that leading your team in tackles, but on your squad, at least 2 of those linemen are in the top 4 in tackles.
That's true, and that's pretty rare. And I think our linebacking core, Coach Wimbo does such a great job with our linebacking core, you know, and a lot of those guys are going to be back with Dylan Willard and Alex Long and Shaquille. And then you've got Marcus Green back last week playing very well, and Henry Jones, a sophomore, stepped in and played some. So our linebacking core is a solid group, and they've really gotten better already as the season's progressed. And I'm hoping that you know, they'll continue. I think, you know, there's an old saying that offenses can have on nights and off nights, but defenses can be on every week. And as long as our defense is on every week, we have a chance to be in every ball game.
Mount Vernon Friday night, they're coming here. Just like Cahokia last week, this is not the same Mount Vernon team we've seen in the past. I would think that given the rivalry that exists between these 2 schools, they're probably going to be ready to come play.
They'll be ready to play us. I mean, I know that, and Coach Mings is a great motivator. I know he's got his kids ready to play us. He always has had his kids ready to play us. We know the record's a bit deceiving. The 4 teams they've lost to are very good football teams. We also know that the 4 teams they've lost to play tough schedules. So an Althoff sitting at 2-2, a team that beat Mount Vernon, but Althoff's played a tough schedule. So we're not deceived by the fact that they're 0-4. We know we've got to play well to win. We know if we don't play well, it'll be a ball game from the beginning to the end. And so you know, we're not taking them lightly. We've got a great week of preparation so far. And we have to continue getting better because as the South 7 Conference continues, every week is going to be a tough ball game for us.
Is this the same type of Mount Vernon team they've had in the past as far as what they do, the type of offense they run, the type of defense they play?
It's a little bit different. It's a little more spread. It's a little more option stuff. And when I say option stuff, they've got the quarterback to run the ball. They've got some jet motion to run the ball. They've got some counteraction. They bring people in motion. I guess they've got a little more diversity in there. So in their quarterback situation, they lost their quarterback early in the year. They're playing a young man, I think his name is Blake Deaton, stepped in and played quarterback and played very well. Blue collar kind of football player, from what I understand. He looks tough on film. He's leading an offense that he didn't expect to have to lead, and he's doing a nice job for him. And turnovers have hurt him. And the night they don't turn the ball over is the night they're going to give somebody away on the ball game. And so you take the turnovers off the table, they're in some of these ball games. They've lost a lot more than they have been.
Quick start against Harrisburg 2 weeks ago. Quick start against Cahokia this last week. How important is that Friday night?
I think it's important. Every week we play now with the schedule we've got ahead of us. We better get off to a quick start. When you're playing a team whose record is you know, maybe a bit under what they had hoped it would be at this time, I think it's important to get out and get a lead on them. The longer you let them hang around and believe they can win the ball game, the more dangerous they become. And so I hope we get off to another good start.
Biggest concern for Friday?
The biggest concern is that we just don't take a step backward. You know, I've been preaching to the kids, we're going to get better, we're going to get worse, you never stay the same. And we have to continue to improve. We don't want to take any step backward. We don't want to take anybody for granted. We don't want to, our motto in the locker room, it's up there on a plaque on the wall, said it's not who you play, it's how you play. And I'm hoping our kids to go out and just play our football game and treat them just like they did Cahokia and like they're going to treat anybody else, because Mount Vernon is looking to knock somebody off in this conference race.
Friday night, Mount Vernon here. Look forward to seeing you Friday.
Sounds great.
Kerry Martin, head coach of the Marion Wildcats for the Daily Republic, and I'm Tim Petrovich.